15. These storms are certainly going to have the heavier rainfall with them. They're also probably going to have some gusty and potentially damaging winds along with them. So it looks like that circulation right now is just to the north of Lawrenceburg. Here is our rotation detector, and we're just kind of looking for those areas where we could be seeing that storm start to spin and rotate. But I want to get in for the street view here so we can get an idea of what main areas we're talking about. So let's talk about Flatwoods, Red Hill, Park Grove, Mars Hill near Belmont. We've talked about Lawrenceburg as well. Hickory Heights, Hood Lake, New Prospect. We're talking about areas near Buffalo Road, near Mount Arrett Road, if I'm pronouncing some of these wrong, please forgive me, Glen Springs Road, and all the areas that are just out ahead of this one from Pleasant Valley to Weakley, and we're even talking near New Prospect, U.S. Highway 64, and we were talking about 43 as well. If these are major roadways that you are taking into work this morning, you need to just sort of wait this out. Let everything just kind of figure itself out and let these storms go through. Right now, we're looking at heavier rainfall from Mount Lebanon all the way back through Spring Creek, just to the north of Knob Creek as well. Those heavier downpours are going to reduce visibility. They're also going to cause maybe the potential for some minor flooding in those areas of poor drainage. But the main thing we're still talking about here is this tornado warning that has been issued for parts of Lawrence and Giles County. This goes until 7:15 this morning. So we are obviously going to stick with this one all the way through. Let's throw a track on this. It's moving at around 45 miles per hour, and all these storms have been moving decently quickly at this point. Circulation looks like it's west of Lawrenceburg, so let's go ahead and drag that out to just around 45 miles per hour so we can get an idea of this track and sort of who's ready for this one next. There's Lawrence County High School, 6:56. The time right now is 6:46, so 10 minutes. This is going to be knocking on our door at this point. New Prospect at 7:01. I understand that's outside just before the warning time expires, but these storms have been sort of hanging on to their circulation for a little bit while. Campbellsville at around 7:11. So again, the time here is 6:46 this morning. We are with you with a forewarned weather alert for a tornado warning that has been issued for Giles and Lawrence County. This goes until 6:15 or 7:15 rather this morning. The time is 6:46 right now. We still have a lot of storms we have to talk about really throughout the mid-state. So let me just give you the bigger picture just for a second here, then we go back to that tornado warning. Parts of West Middle Tennessee, we're finally getting a nice break from any of this, but in the far northern portions of the Cumberland Plateau, well, the big story has been the rain is finally starting to work its way in. From areas near Livingston, Gainesboro, we're getting into parts of Smith, Jackson, Putnam counties as well, where we also have a severe thunderstorm warning from areas from Baxter, Cookeville, near Monterey as well. Jamestown, this storm is racing through the Cumberland Plateau and certainly going to pack those heavier downpours. Gusty wind along with it. We've been getting wind reports of 40, 50, even near 60 miles per hour in some locations, even up and around 70 miles per hour for those wind gusts. But the reason we are with you right now is because of this tornado warning that has been issued for parts of Lawrence and Giles County. This goes until 7:15. If you are in the path of this storm, you need to be getting into your safe space immediately. There's that rotation we're talking about. So here's our rotation detector. And what I want you to remember with this is that it's all about these different colors, these greens and these reds. We need to find the areas that are sort of showing them when they have that tight circulation. The green going toward the radar. Radar pretend is at the top of your screen. Red is moving away from the radar. So within that, there's our circulation. It's just to the west of Lawrenceburg and Belmont as well. There's Hickory Heights, rather. There's that center of circulation east of Mount Lebanon. So all of these areas, there's Waterfront Roadway. All of this is Waterloo Roadway, rather, I should say. Mars Hill. We're just out ahead of this main area of circulation. So that's the issue that we're talking about right now. If you're in Belmont, if you're in Lawrenceburg, if you're in Hickory Heights, or any of these surrounding areas, you absolutely need to be getting into your safe space. The best area for you is going to be a basement. If you don't have a basement, you get into the lowest level of your home and into an interior room, whether it's an interior closet, a powder room, or a bathroom on the first floor. You can also take in things like a football helmet, a hockey helmet, pillows, blankets, anything you can to potentially protect yourself from any flying debris. Remember, this is a radar indicated tornado warning. It does not mean that there is one on the ground right now, but this is certainly showing some signs that this storm is rotating, it's spinning, it's trying to drop a tornado right now. We have no reports that it certainly has at this point, but that heavier rain is still packing a punch for us, rather, I should say. So there's that center of circulation again, and what I want to do is let's just go ahead, and you can see that it's now moving east. Hood Lake, Hickory Heights, New Prospect, Mars Hill, Glen Spring Road, Old Florence Road, near Springer Road, North Locust Avenue, one of the major roadways, as well as Pulaski Highway. There's U.S. Highway 64. Route 43, this center of circulation is going to cross right over 43 in the next 1 to 2 minutes if it's not already there at this point. We were talking about Glen Springs Road as well as Springer Road as well. We'll look a little farther to the east at this point. There's Pulaski Highway, Martin Road, McCarter Roadway as well near Mars Hill, New Prospect. The circulation is not near us right now, but it is right on our doorstep. That circulation certainly means business for us. And even without the circulation, we still have the severe thunderstorm warning that's just tacked onto this whole storm to begin with. So we're talking winds in excess of 40 to even 50 miles per hour at this point. These storms have a history of producing wind damage. They have a history of causing some minor flooding. It's mostly areas of poor drainage, so we're not concerned about any of the rivers at this point because the storms are moving so quickly that the heaviest of the rainfall doesn't have time to sit anywhere for too long and cause us any big problems. But here is that rainfall rate that's along with this storm. Again, we're mainly focused on the tornado warning, but we do want to talk about some of these rainfall rates, 7 up to 8 inches per hour. Now, because these storms are moving, you're not seeing 7 to 8 inches of rain. But this heavier rainfall is reducing visibility. It's causing hydroplaning on roadways. If you are in the path of this storm, it is time to get into your safe space. So I want to go back to where that center of circulation is. It's right over Lawrenceburg right now. The storm, again, is moving at around 40 to 45 miles per hour. There's a little bit of an update for you, not much of one, but we're still seeing a decent update as to where the storm is exactly moving. It's moving at around 45 miles per hour. So Lawrenceburg, again, it's right on top of us. It's here right now. New Prospect at 6:58. The time right now is 6:51. Pulaski at 7:15. Let's talk about Giles County High School and Richland High School. I know it's just, about 10, 15 minutes, 20 minutes away from this, but this storm is certainly meaning business at this point. This storm is packing a punch. It's causing some difficulties, and we are going to stick with it for you with this tornado-warned storm that has been issued 4 parts of Lawrence and Giles County. This goes until 7:15. That main area of circulation, once again, is right near Lawrenceburg. We need to be ready for this. That circulation is tightening. You can see those reds and those greens right on top of one another. That's just south of Belmont, right near Glen Springs Road. So areas like Hood Lake, Hickory Heights, we need to be ready for this one in Lawrenceburg. If you are hearing me right now, you need to get to a safe place, a basement, an interior room in the first floor of your home, wherever you can go to get away from the interior walls. If you're thinking about going anywhere, if you're thinking about, just wait this out. Let this go through and let this storm sort of take its course. The heavier rain has obviously been a big problem, but we're also talking about just the potential for gusty, damaging winds. We can sort of click around and just get a look at the wind speeds in and around Lawrenceburg. This is radar estimated, so it does tend to exaggerate just a little bit, but there's still wind speeds in excess of 40 miles per hour, and just those winds in itself, that's enough to topple some tree limbs, maybe some small trees that are in the yard, cause some power outages. We've been getting plenty of reports of power outages across the entire mid-state since around 3, 4 o'clock this morning as these storms first started to work their way in. But the main concern right now is this radar-indicated tornado warning that has been issued for Lawrence and Giles County. Like we were just saying, that main area of circulation right now is right over Lawrenceburg. If it's not here already, it's pretty close, and it's going to continue to move to the east right now at around 45 miles per hour. That's why this warning extends in to parts of Giles County, because this circulation, you can really kind of see it now with our radar. You can see with these returns that we're seeing just kind of where that spin is. So let me come back to the wall so I can show you exactly what I'm talking about. Here is Route 43. So that circulation is going to go right over 43. It's right over Lawrenceburg right now, and you can see that spin in there. There it is. There's a little bit of a radar update moving to the east where we sort of get that decrease in the reflectivity. Kind of looks like the rain has fallen apart a little bit. It's not coming down as heavy. That is still going to be an issue for us as it goes through the eastern portions of Lawrence County, eventually getting into the western portion of Giles County as well. The heavier rainfall right over 43, 64 as well. That has now since sort of moved on and off to the east, just south of Etheridge. But once it gets into Giles County, we'll see how long this warning is allowed to last for. It is 7:15 that warning is going to be allowed to expire, if not continued by the National Weather Service. The time right now is 6:54. So if you are just joining us, we have a tornado warning, another one in the mid-state this morning. This one is for Lawrence and Giles County. This goes until 7:15. Let's get a track on here. It's moving at around 45 miles per hour. We're going to line it up with right away with that center of circulation moving to the east right now. It's still at around 45 to 50 miles per hour. There's Pulaski, 7:16. Giles County High School, 7:17. Richland High School at 7:17 as well. And Linville coming in right around 7:20. So all of these areas, if you can see your town, your city, your high school on this list, and even the areas just surrounding it, you know, if you know, hey, I live, 5-10 miles from Giles County High School or Richland High School, or hey, I'm just outside of Linville, you need to be ready for this one as it's coming through. That circulation has now moved across Lawrenceburg. We do not have anything confirmed on the ground right now. Let me take one look here and see if we can see anything here on one of our cameras that we actually have in Lawrenceburg. And I just want to get an idea of exactly what's going on here with that heavier rainfall and those potential for those gusty and damaging winds. So I know that this probably says Brentwood, but this is actually Lawrenceburg right now, and you really just can't see anything at this point. So that rain is drastically reducing visibility. That's been a problem all morning. We've been talking about the potential for hydroplaning on the roadway. So again, a live look from Lawrenceburg, right where that circulation just passed over. We can't really see anything right now because of that obviously heavier rainfall that's coming in. So that's just something we kind of have to wait to see. You got to wait for this heavier rain to move out. But for right now, there's that circulation just passing over Lawrenceburg. Let's go back to our rotation detector and see where things are starting to line up. Clear this out, get this out of the way so we can see exactly what's going on. But it does look like that the circulation is now moving to the east of Lawrenceburg, and that's one of the big things. So now we have to start looking into parts of Giles County with that tornado-warned circulation that'll be moving right along Route 64. There it is. Let's get in for a little bit of a bigger view here so we can start naming some areas. New Prospect, also weekly as well. Freeman Road. There's Lawrenceburg Highway as well. U.S. Highway 64. Pulaski Highway, Martin Road, Miller Lane, Weekly Creek Road. We talked about Freeman Road as well. How about Big Dry Creek Road? There's Richland Trace subdivision. All of these areas are in that tornado warning right now. Just to the north of West Side, there's Lance Road, Brook Hollow Road, Hurricane Creek Road. If you're hearing your road, your town, your city name, you can see the school delays we've already had from just all of these storms that have been coming through for the last 3 to 4 hours. Troutsdale County schools are now closed. There's an update for you. Troutsdale County schools now closed. 2-hour delay. Cannon, Cheatham, and Lawrence counties, right where that center of circulation is moving over right now. Also Macon and Warren counties. We are also seeing reports of those heavier rainfall, the gusty winds as well. So that has also caused that 2-hour delay to be issued in those areas. So here's our rotation detector once again, and this is the circulation that we're currently tracking. Green returns moving toward the radar. Those red returns go away from the radar. So we're looking for that circulation just to the east of Lawrenceburg as of right now. No reports of a touchdown, no reports of damage at this point. This is still a radar-indicated rotation. We're certainly going to be watching this one as it moves into Giles County. The tornado warning is going to be continued through Giles County, looks like, from the National Weather Service, moving east at, again, right around 45 miles per hour. So let's take it out. I want to get the track on here one more time, but I also want to take a look and just sort of at our reflectivity, sort of just the rain that's in this, so we can get an idea of those heavier downpours that's within this entire severe thunderstorm warning, by the way. So areas from Linville, Loretto, Elkton. We're still going to see heavier rainfall from this, even though we're not in that main warning of the tornado warning, that is. There's still going to be that severe thunderstorm warning. With the heavier rainfall, winds in excess of 40 miles per hour, maybe even up to 60 miles per hour in some spots. It does look like we are getting another tornado warning that is just about to be issued for the northern portions of Middle Tennessee. Remember, we were talking about these storms that have been moving in to parts of the Cumberland Plateau. So this is what we're tracking right now. We got to wait a second and kind of let this circulation sort of show itself up right now. But this looks like another tornado warning is going to be, in fact, issued for Clay, Overton, and Pickett counties. This one is going to go until just around 7:15 as well. So we're going to wait for that warning to kind of make itself known. But it does look like another warning is, in fact, going to be issued for these areas. So let's go ahead and just get a look. We'll see what's going on in here, where that warning could possibly be issued for. And it looks like that center of circulation right now, there it is, just to the north of Livingston. A new tornado warning has been issued until 7:15. That center of circulation right now looks to be just to the north of Livingston at this point, and it's moving to the east again at around 40 to 45 miles per hour. It's pretty much all of these storms have been doing. It looks like it's right near that sort of Clay County and Jackson County border, and even near Overton County as well. We have another circulation to watch. So there's a lot going on with these storms. That main circulation right now, that's sort of catching my eyes to the north of Livingston. There's those green returns again. They're moving toward the radar. The red returns are moving away from it. So there's that center of circulation just to the north of Livingston, getting into parts of Jackson County, Clay County, and Overton County as well. Into Pickett County on top of that is another area we'll certainly be watching. But this tornado warning right now is just for Clay, Overton, and Pickett counties. Let's go into some of those areas of circulation. There's free communication, Unity, Big Springs, Garrett's Mill, Livingston, Oak Grove, Oakdale, Rocky Ridge, Ryan Springs. There's Winningham as well. Flat Creek, where we're sort of seeing all this taper off, but still kind of with us right now. State Highway 42, there's Frogtown Road. All these areas we were talking about before this warning was issued. Remember, Bradford Hicks Drive, rather, as well. Goose Creek Lane, State Highway 85, which we've been talking about, Dogwood Road, Highway Route, State Highway 111 in the path of this storm. Everyone, if you're seeing your town, if you hear me say it, you need to be getting into your safe space immediately. We have 2 tornado warnings that we are currently tracking. So let's go 4-1 real-time radar again, take it out for a bigger view. We have 1 tornado warning that has been issued for parts of Lawrence and Giles County. We have a 2nd tornado warning that has just been issued for the northern parts of the Cumberland Plateau. This is Clay, Overton, and Pickett County. So we're going to have to take these one at a time. Let me go back down to Lawrence and Giles County, where that first warning was issued, which is also set to expire at around 7:15. I have to switch over sort of this reflectivity so we can get a better idea of where that circulation is. It looks like it's moving a little south of Lawrenceburg at this point, where that circulation is sort of setting up right to the south of Lawrenceburg. It's just about to cross over into that Giles County line. So it looks like it's south of New Prospect, near West Side, Rossboro as well, Brook Hollow Road, Hurricane Creek Road, Lance Roadway. If you are in the path of this storm, you need to be getting to a basement. You need to get into an interior room in your home, as this storm has some history of damaging wind gusts, heavier rainfall, as well as all of these storms have had. Maybe even some hail. That's not one of our biggest concerns, but it is still something that obviously we'll see. So there's that center of circulation. Let's throw a track on it real quick. Again, it's moving to the south-southeast, just around 45 miles per hour. West side, it's 7:02 right now. So in about the next 4 minutes, 7:06. Pulaski, 7:19. There's Giles County High School at 7:19 as well. That is where this storm is headed next. That is the one for Lawrence and Giles County. Now we need to go to this second storm that's into the northern portions of the Cumberland Plateau. And again, this one being for Clay, Overton, and parts of Pickett County as well. A new tornado warning issued about 10 minutes ago in these locations. And like we were talking about, we were keeping an eye on these areas when that severe thunderstorm warning was in fact issued. So there's Byrdstown. On top of that, we're going to get in for a little bit of a tighter view one more time so we can throw a track on this. You can see with the latest radar updates that we have those strong, potentially gusty and damaging winds, but still seeing that potential rotation, especially around the Livingston area. Those are the main spots we're watching for the potential for some rotation and maybe even a tornado. Remember, these are all radar indicated. Nothing has been confirmed on the ground, but these storms are certainly showing signs that they are really trying to drop some stuff on the ground, which they've really been trying to do pretty much all morning. So let's drag that center of circulation, again, moving at around 40 to 45 miles per hour. Oak Grove, the time is 7:04. How about 7:07 in Oak Grove? Eastport at 7:18. Helena at 7:25. I know that that's outside of the warning box, but these storms have been pulsing lately, so it's sort of one of those situations where, yeah, the storm might pulsate a little bit, but the heavier rain and gusty winds are still going to be a thing. Jamestown, if this can continue, at around 7:31. And here's the thing. It looks like most of these are just, if anything, going to be brief little spin-ups. So they're not going to last very long, but they need to be taken seriously just the same. There's that center of circulation near Oak Grove. It's right at State Highway 42, Bradford Hicks Drive, State Highway 85. It's just off to the east of Livingston. Alpine, right along Goose Creek Road and State Highway 85. How about Oakdale as well? I know it's a little far to the north and east, but these center of circulations have a tendency to move around a little bit. So there's been a whole lot going on through the mid-state pretty much all day today. Our storm threats with this storm, obviously that rotation's a big thing, but here's those other areas of circulation we've been talking about. This can help us, this sort of radar image we have, helps us pinpoint where exactly some of that rotation can be lining up in some of these storms. So that's why that sort of tornado warning is extending a little bit farther to the north right now into parts of Clay County, and that's why Pickett County is also in this warning on top of that. So those sort of pink colors, that's the hail. But these red colors in there, that's something that we call shear. It's a fancy term. All it means is that the radar is picking up on winds that are twisting and turning inside of this thunderstorm. So that's when tornado warnings get issued. They don't get issued, obviously, when they're on the ground. They get issued when we start to see some rotation inside of these storms, inside of those layer of clouds. And that's exactly what these little red returns on our storm threats is showing. It's showing that this storm is trying to get different pockets of rotation. That's why that warning is extending so far north and south, because the main reason for this is that we want you to be ready. We want you to be weather ready for these storms to come through. So Byrdstown, I mean, this is going to be right on top of us maybe in the next 10, 15 minutes at most. These storms are moving quickly. They're not lasting all that long, and when they do, they're packing a pretty good punch as well. So let me go back to radar. There's that tornado warning. Let's see if we can find some of those other areas of circulation that are kind of within this one. It might be a little difficult to see because there's so much heavier rain within these storms that sometimes it's just hard to pick up on these circulations. And we're not seeing a whole lot of tight circulation right now, but the problem is these storms are sort of briefly spinning up here and there. So these severe thunderstorms, 50, 60 mile per hour winds, but we also have the tornado warning that's set to expire at around 7:15. Again, this whole thing is moving at around 45 miles per hour. And what I'm going to do here is I want to take the entire sort of track here, this entire line, because remember, there's little vortices, little areas of circulation all throughout this storm that we need to be picking up on. So Byrdstown now, Oak Grove, it's right on top of us. Eastport at 7:14, that's right at the tail end of when this warning is set to expire, but we'll obviously see if that is the case. 7:22, we're talking near Helena as well. Looks like that tornado warning does continue until 7:15. Again, this one is for Overton and Pickett County, so it looks like the warning is at least going to be allowed to expire in parts of Clay County as of right now, which is certainly some good news, but that's because the storm is working its way out of Clay County. We still have another tornado warning, though, that is just south of this. It's all the way down in the southern portions of Middle Tennessee. We have to talk about it. It's in Lawrence and into parts of Giles County. Looks like that main area of circulation is actually working its way out of Lawrence County, and it's moving into Giles County. So there it is. Bodenham, if I'm pronouncing that wrong, forgive me, but it's moving right over our area at this point. There's that rotation just to the west of Pulaski at this point. That's where the rotation is. That's where the storm is trying to twisting and turning. There's Richland Trace subdivision. Let's name some roads. Chicken Creek Road. There's West College Street, Minor Hill Road, West Madison Street as well. U.S. Highway 64, State Route 166, Loop Road. We're going to look a little farther to the east right now. State Route 11, Magazine Road. There's Jefferson Street as well. Let's talk about Chapman's, Green Acres. I know this is out ahead of the warning, but Powell Chapel, Blooming Grove, Leatherwood Creek Road, Blooming Grove Road, even near 5 Points. All of these areas are going to be in the line of this storm next as it starts to work its way through. That's where the rotation is right now. It's moving to the east at around 45 miles per hour into Giles County at this point. It's just outside of Pulaski. We have that severe thunderstorm warning that also extends all the way through Giles County just because of how heavy this rain is and those gusty and potentially damaging winds. So we throw a track on this one, just like the last couple we've been doing. It's again moving at, let's call it around 45 miles per hour. So Pulaski, the time is 7:09. At around 7:14, it'll be right on our doorstep. Giles County High School at 7:15. The warning is expiring at around 7:15, so we'll see if it's allowed to extend. If so, Del Rose at 7:33. These storms are moving quickly, so they're not lingering, but when they're coming through, they are packing quite a punch. Now, the good news is we have no reports of damage. All these tornado warnings have been radar indicated, so there's no signs right now that any of these are, in fact, on the ground. And as a matter of fact, we can even take a little bit of a look into that with our debris detector. And normally what we want to look for here are some of those blue colors that could be indication of some debris. I'm not seeing that right now, so it doesn't seem like that's going to be a major issue for us. But what we are going to watch for is this storm to continue to pulsate and continue to strengthen. Let's take it out, bigger view. I want to talk about the rest of our area so we can know exactly who is sort of in the clear and who we're looking at now. So this storm is extending all the way from the northern Cumberland Plateau, the southern portions of Kentucky, all the way back through the southern portions of Middle Tennessee, near Lawrenceburg, getting into Giles County as well, like we were talking about. Cookeville, heavier rainfall near Jamestown as well, where that severe thunderstorm warning and tornado warning have been issued. Let's go back to that warning that's moving through parts of Overton and now into Pickett County so we can get an idea of where that rotation is in fact setting up. And we got to kind of click around here to get a general idea of exactly what's going on with this storm, because there's a lot that's been going on over the last few hours, and these storms are certainly packing the heavier rainfall as well as those potentially damaging and gusty winds. So there is that center of circulation getting into the southern portions of, it looks like, Pickett County right now, and just to the north of Overton. Let's Wormingham near Midway, Boom, Sunset, get in for a bigger view. There's Livingston or State Route, looks like that's State Route 11, I should say. Cope Cemetery Road near Oak Grove Road. This is all right on top of us right now. There's Richardson Road, Double Top. Better view right now of some main roadways. Tate Hill Road, Dry Creek Road on top of that. There's Robertson Roadway, Garfield Hines Road, Crab Mountain Road, Little Crab, Double Top. We're all sort of in the path of this one as it comes in next. There's Mount Union, Moodyville as well, Red Hill. This is going to continue to move to the east. The warning has not, as of now, been extended into portions of Overton County fully, at least as of right now, or the eastern portions of Overton and into Pickett's. But for now, we're just sort of watching this go through Pickett County and Overton County with this particular severe thunderstorm warning and this tornado warning. Now, the good news is that the tornado warning has been allowed to expire for Giles and Lawrence County. So it does look like that we're actually seeing a little bit of a break in at least that main area of circulation in Giles and Lawrence County. So that one has been allowed to expire. We still have the severe thunderstorm warning on it, though, with those heavier downpours, that wind up to 50, maybe even 60 miles per hour. And we're still seeing rain really from Nashville, Smyrna, near Murfreesboro, McMinnville, Manchester. We haven't had a whole lot through McMinnville, Manchester yet. Areas like Warren, Coffee, Cannon, Bedford counties, even Franklin and Moore counties, Lincoln County on top of that. Haven't had a whole lot of rain, at least the heavier stuff for right now, but we are still seeing that heavier rain work its way east. So if it's not there now, it's coming our way. We do have a little bit of a break, though, from Benton, Humphreys, Houston, Stewart, Henry, Perry, Decatur, even into Wayne counties, Lewis counties, Hickman counties, Dixon County, all areas that got this stuff earlier on. It's finally starting to work its way out. But the main tornado warning we're focused on is now in the northern portions of parts of Pickett and into Overton counties. That is where we're getting signs of rotation. It is not confirmed on the ground at this point, but what we are certainly seeing is that this storm is causing some issues across Middle Tennessee and even southern Kentucky as well, because that's been one of the main areas we've been watching pretty much all morning long. So there's that big line of rain that's coming through along with those areas of circulation. And there's that tight circulation actually just beginning to move a little bit to the north. So remember, we were talking about this not even 5 minutes ago. There's that tornado warning. There's that rotation. It's right near Double Top, Little Crab, just to the north of Riverton. So if you are in the path of this storm, you need to be getting into your safe space. It has not been issued. This tornado warning has not been extended any farther east as of right now into Jamestown. But the good news is that once it moves out of here, it should start to kind of weaken its circulation just a little bit more. But this storm certainly means business, as they all have. If you are in the path of this storm, and again, with that tornado warning, that possible tornado that is just sort of radar indicated right now, you want to get to the lowest level of your home. An interior room is going to be best. You want to protect your head from flying debris. Use pillows, blankets, a helmet if you can. If you don't have a basement, an interior room is going to be the best place for you, whether that be a closet that you have in the hallway on the first floor, maybe a powder room or a bathroom, or just something you have underneath a staircase. All good ideas to protect yourself from this storm. If you're thinking about traveling, we've been talking about it all morning, you just kind of want to give yourself time here. And you're just waking up this morning. You're trying to get the kids ready for school. Keep in mind, we also have some school closings and delays because of these storms and the power outages they've been causing, the heavier rainfall as well, and just some of that potential damage that we've been seeing as well. But this storm is moving east at around 45 miles per hour. So it's beginning to at least work its way out of those main areas of concern that we were talking about. It was over Livingston not that long ago, and now we're seeing it move into parts of the eastern portions of Overton and into Pickett County as well. So what we'll see next is sort of this whole line of storms work their way out, and then we'll see a big cool down behind all of that. But for now, the main thing is this line that's just moving through the Cumberland Plateau. That's causing heavy rain, gusty, damaging winds, and that is going to, in and itself, maybe even cause some power outages and some localized issues as well as far as flooding is concerned, though it hasn't seemed to have been a major problem so far in the last few hours here. So it looks like it's going to move out of Overton and Pickett counties. Fentress counties, that's where it's going to move next if this warning is allowed to expire. So we're going into areas like Jamestown right now to take a look at that warning. And as I'm looking right now, it actually does look like that tornado warning sort of has disappeared here. I just have to confirm if it was actually canceled or what happened. So you have to bear with me for just a second so we can get an idea of what happened with that tornado warning in those areas. Just give me 1 second here. All right, we'll get a note from the National Weather Service in just a second here. But for right now, I'm not seeing any tornado warnings. I am seeing that heavier rainfall, though, that continues to work its way through those areas. And that's going to be one of the big things that we see is if these warnings are, in fact, allowed to expire or not. But for right now, I'm not seeing any warnings. We still have those heavier downpours that are working their way through parts of the Cumberland Plateau. So for right now, I just don't want to get off just yet to find out if that warning is actually going to be expired. And it does look like that tornado warning has been continued. So it's still into the southern portions of Pickett County right now. It should pop back up here in just a second. There was a little bit of a lapse in there for the timing of that. It's getting into parts of Fentress counties as well, so areas near Jamestown. If you're listening here, you need to start getting into your safe space as well. So this will pop back up in just a second here, and we'll get an idea of exactly where this tornado warning is. And there we go, getting into, looks like the northern portions of Pickett County, into the northern portions of Jamestown as well. So we were talking about Moodyville, Davidson. Let's talk about Red Hill, Wolf River, Fairview. There's Squirrel Flat as well, near Buck Mountain Roadway, North York Highway, Dry Creek Road, all areas near Wolf River Loop as well. Rotten Fork Road, Sharp Place, a little farther to the east from that main area of circulation, but it does look like that it is beginning to strengthen itself again, at least that area of circulation, and that's kind of where it is right now. It's in the southern portions of this, getting into Fairview and parts of Squirrel Flats. So it looks like in the northern portions of Pickett County that it doesn't seem like that circulation is near us right now. Looks like that's moved more into parts of Fentress County, but because these circulations have a tendency to move around a little bit as they're trying to get their act together, we're going to stick with you with this one as we go through the next 15 or 20 minutes or so, whenever this warning is allowed to expire, which is supposed to be at around 7:45. So let me just take you out. We'll get the big picture again one more time. Those of us in parts of West Middle Tennessee, we're finally getting a nice break from at least the heavier rainfall, but we're still seeing some of those light showers here and there. There's still those damage reports behind in those areas. So you still need to give yourself extra time. We have school delays. We have school closings because of this heavier rainfall through the metro areas from Hendersonville to Nashville. We're getting a little bit of a break right now, and this should pretty much be it for the day, by the way. From Hendersonville, Madison, Inglewood, Nashville, Mount Juliet, Lebanon, we still have that rainfall coming down, but no major issues to speak of at this point. So that severe thunderstorm warning that has the tornado warning on it is for Pickett County. Looks like the far northern portions of Pickett County and getting into Fentress counties. This goes until 7:45 this morning. There's that center of circulation we've been talking about. It looks like it's a little bit farther south near Doubletop, Fairview, and Squirrel Flats. That's where that main area of circulation has really been since we've been talking about this, but it can drift a little bit north into parts of Pickett County, so that's why we're still with you at this point. Wolf River as well. I know we're just south of it, but Buck Mountain Road just to the east of Squirrel Hill Flats. That's Pearl Hines Road, State Route 28, East Jamestown, Pickett Highway, Delk Creek Road, Sharp Place. It's still pretty far out, but for right now, what we're going to talk about is that the fact that this could actually continue to move to the north and east, so that's why we'll also have to watch for the southern portions, the far southeastern portions of Pickett County once again as this tornado warning continues to work its way to the east. Again, it's moving at around 45 miles per hour, so we've only got around 16 miles to go in some of these spots. So these storms are moving very quickly, but they're certainly packing a punch as they do so. And there's not a good news is, not a whole lot out ahead of this storm. It is going to enter an area that's sort of a little bit more rural between Squirrel Flat and Sharp Place and north of East Jamestown. But with this circulation sort of moving itself around, that's sort of our main thing here, is that it's going to take some time to fully figure out where the circulation is going to go. Again, it's a radar-indicated rotation, a radar-indicated tornado warning, so nothing's been confirmed on the ground right now. But the main story for us right now is that just, east of 65, we're still seeing that heavier rainfall, those potentially damaging wind gusts, and then west of 65, there's actually still that issue of just sort of the leftover damage, and winds are actually still going to gust upwards of 40, maybe even near 50 miles per hour at times, pretty much all day today. So maybe we can take a look at the current wind speed right now just to see how things are actually going through the mid-state, and winds are still right now, 15, 20 miles per hour, up to 30 miles per hour in some spots. But remember, it's a gusty wind, so that means we could still see gusts between 30 and 40 miles per hour even through the remainder of this afternoon as that colder air works its way back in behind the cold front. And speaking of the cold front, let me just take a quick second here. I'll show you where that is, what's to come next. That front is moving to the east, so with the front will eventually go the showers. But behind that cold front comes significantly cooler air. The reason that all this is happening, by the way, is just because of that big cool down that we've been talking about for, really the last 24 to 48 hours here. You can see the temperatures behind this front. So this time of year, I know that we all love the warmth and temperatures in the 70s and 60s, and it's great. But when you get, bouts of cold air that swing through behind this, a cold front like that, and you can see the temperatures back from Indianapolis, St. Louis, and Springfield, that's what fires off these severe weather events. Colder air crashing into warmer air causes lift in the atmosphere. That's what fires off these showers and thunderstorms. And when you get that cold and warm air mixed like that, and you start to get things circulating and moving, that's where these tornado warnings come from. So as of right now, we still have one tornado warning left. It is getting into the northern portions, or really, I guess, the far southern portions and the far northern portions of parts of Pickett County. It's also getting into Fentress counties as well at this point. So that's our big area of concern right now as the storm continues to move to the east. It's more of a rural area, which is obviously good, but we're still talking about areas near, Delk Creek Road. We talked about North York Highway, Wolf River. There's Rotten Fork Road. We look a little farther to our east near Sharp Place, Black House Mountain Road, Pickett Parkway Highway. There's Montgomery Lane. So all of these areas are sort of going to be in the line of fire with this storm next as it starts to work its way through. Let's get a quick check on that area of circulation. It does look like it's sort of losing its circulation. It's not quite as tight, but right now kind of looks like it's just near Delk Creek Road. So that's why we were talking about Sharp Place so much, because that area of circulation is going to keep moving to the east, and it does have the tendency to drift a little bit, north or south as it does so. And that's why this warning, the boxes are so large, is essentially what we're getting at here. But this tornado warning that has been issued for parts of Pickett and Fentress counties, this goes until 7:45. The time is now 7:23 this morning. We also, by the way, still had the severe thunderstorm warning that sort of just tacked on to all of this. So the heavier rainfall, is still an issue for all of us, and it even goes a little bit farther south right now. That's getting into parts of Putnam County, even into maybe the far southern portions of White County, at this point. That's where these severe thunderstorm warnings have really just kind of been packing a punch over the last few hours. And it does look like we're just about to get a new severe thunderstorm warning that'll be issued. There it is, actually, right now. That's getting into Bedford, Coffee, Giles, and Marshall counties. That's from that heavier thunderstorm you can see back near Lewisburg. So these storms are still going to pack wind gusts of 40 to 50 miles per hour, maybe even up to 60 miles per hour. So there's Palmetto, Petersburg, Pleasant Grove, Shelbyville, Hilltop, Wartrace, Tullahoma, Cornersville. All of these areas are going to be in the path of this new severe thunderstorm warning, which is set to expire right around 8 o'clock. Hilltop as well. It's just to the north of Lynchburg. No warning issued there quite yet. But we also have another severe thunderstorm warning that has been extended from Linville, Pulaski, Elkton. It's getting into Fayetteville as well now, into parts of Lincoln County. Another severe thunderstorm. Main concern still being those gusty and potentially damaging winds, of which these storms have obviously had a history of doing so. As they move through the Cumberland Plateau, they hit some of those mountains, they start to spin up a little bit. That's where these little tornado warnings end up coming from. But west of 65, it's really just some light rainfall back at this time. Let's see if we can get a little view of some damage reports here from the last couple of hours, and you can see all the wind damage that we've been talking about really north of Interstate 40. Those have been the main areas we've been watching for. So this is around 518. This is in Ashland City. Reports of trees down, blocking a road on Saddle Tree Road and Ed Harris Road. The estimated time here tends to be from our radar images. That's sort of how we tend to gauge those. There's another report of trees down in Cottontown. Time estimated, again, around 5:24, right as those storms were coming through. One of the first areas where we saw these severe thunderstorms move through and actually had a warning was in Stewart County, near Dover. That was more of a concentrated area of downed trees near Cross Creek Wildlife Refuge headquarters. The reason that it says concentrated in there is to sort of hint that that may be where we've had a brief touchdown, but like we were talking about, nothing is fully confirmed as of now. Here's another one. This is trees blocking roadway, Old Railroad Lane and Herman Road. That one saying that it could have been a tornado touchdown. Nothing has been confirmed at this point, but the point still being here that it's being classified as thunderstorm wind damage, but no doubt there will be some inspections as to see whether it was in fact a tornado that did so. And here's another one. All of this, by the way, through Todd County and even sneaking into parts of Logan County in Kentucky as well. Significant tree damage. That was on Clay Cold Road. So you can see just behind all of this, even near areas near Clarksville, there's trees and limbs down throughout the county with that cold front that came through. That's why even though we're done with the rain and the heavier wind gusts, doesn't mean we're completely in the clear, because with trees down on roadways, we can still be dealing with power outages as well as the potential for, issues on your morning commute. If you're just getting ready to head out the door, don't forget we do have some school delays and even some closings in Troutsdale. Schools have been closed in Troutsdale County because of that severe weather that's worked its way through. Main story of concern right now, though, is this tornado warning that has been issued. This is for the southern portions of Pickett County, as well as getting into Fentress counties. This goes until 7:45. The storm is quickly moving, so we'll see if this is allowed to maybe expire a little bit early on. But The good news is with these areas is they do tend to be a little bit more rural in some spots. There's that center of circulation we've been talking about with this tornado warning. It's more into Fentress counties right now, so not all that bad, at least in the general area that it's in right now. But if you're in and around the area of Sharp Place, you need to be getting to your safe space right now. The best place for that, again, is going to be the lowest level of your home. If you don't have a basement, an interior room will be best. Protect your head from any flying debris. So if you have the opportunity to grab pillows, blankets, a helmet, best thing to see right now is do you get into your safe space, turn your TV up if you're listening to us. No reason to go outside trying to look for any of this. It does look like the main part of this circulation right now, though, seems to be in Fentress counties and not into parts of Pickett County. So that's obviously good news for us, but notice how Pickett County does drop a little bit farther south, so that's why the warning is still in those areas. So let's talk about Pickett Parkway Highway, Ridge Fork Road, State Route 154, Basin Road near Sharp Place. There's Pickett Park Highway again, Montgomery Lane, Spencer Creek Drive, Basin Road. We've talked about Grandview Highway as well, where that circulation is sitting right over top of us right now. It's still moving to the east at just around 45 miles per hour. So we'll go ahead and throw a track on this one that we need to just be sure where the storm is going. Just give me 1 second here so we can just see how this storm is tracking to the east. And like I was saying, the good news is out ahead of this storm right now, there's a lot more rural areas. So that's certainly going to give, the storm maybe some damage in those areas, but not as populous as other areas in our viewing area. So that certainly is some good news, but we still have that full severe thunderstorm warning that's causing issues all throughout Middle Tennessee and even parts of southern Kentucky as well. We have these two severe thunderstorm warnings that are in areas like Pulaski, Linville. It's getting into Fayetteville. That's parts of Lincoln County. We're also talking Marshall, Bedford, Coffee counties. Nothing in Moore County as of now, but I would suspect in about the next 20 minutes to, if not a half an hour, we'll see a warning there as well as these heavier thunderstorms work their way through. Main threats are going to be gusty winds upwards of 50, maybe even near 60 miles per hour. You can see these warnings are set to expire around 8:15 this morning. There we go. There's our new severe thunderstorm warning that was just issued for parts of Moore County. Notice this one also goes into Franklin County as well. So that severe thunderstorm warning will now extend through Fayetteville, Huntland, Winchester, Estill Springs, Tullahoma, getting into parts of Moore County, Lynchburg, Hilltop as well, Pleasant Grove, heavy rain, gusty winds, and maybe even some hail in those locations as well. A little farther to our north, Manchester, McMinnville, Bradyville, Woodbury. Rain is not quite as heavy, but still maybe some brief heavier downpours, and wind gusts still upwards of 40 miles per hour, maybe 30 miles per hour in some locations. But we're still with you right now because we have a tornado warning that's still in effect for the northern portions of the southern portions. It's really for most of Pickett County right now and the northern portions of Fentress County. It looks like that main area of circulation has really moved off to the eastern portions of Fentress County, just to the north of Jamestown right now. And that's sort of where we've been watching this pretty much the entire time. East Jamestown, Sharp Place, all areas that we've been naming with this severe thunderstorm warning. But there's the tornado warning that goes until 7:45 this morning. If you're in the path of this storm, you absolutely need to be getting into your safe place right now. Best place will be the lowest level of your home, an interior room, a basement, a closet you may have in the front hallway, somewhere away from the outside wall so that you can make sure you're staying safe as this storm continues to work its way through. And all of this, remember, we talked about it. It's all because of the cold front. It's all because of that cold air. We were enjoying temperatures, right, that were in the 70s, and that was great to see. But with the colder air making a comeback, once that happens, that's sort of what fires off these severe storms. You can see the big drop in temperatures behind all of this. So with that strong of a cold front that came through the mid-state, that's what really gave the opportunity for this storm system to be a pretty big one. There's regional radar, and there's that front. So as the front moves, the storms will go with it. And hey, behind all of that, we may even see some sunshine later, by the way. This might not last the entire day where we're stuck in the clouds. So let's take a look at our satellite and radar, and we can sort of see what's been going on with our visible satellite for the last few hours. And here we go. There's some clearing back in parts of West Middle Tennessee, Waverly, Clarksville. So as we go through the next few hours, I would expect these showers to move out, these storms to move out as well. Maybe the next 1 to 2 hours by 8, 9 o'clock. A lot of us will be pretty much done with all of this. And then what we go from there is we clear out. we get some sunshine back, but the issue still being that the wind will still be a little gusty. So if anything is maybe loose outside and maybe some tree limbs are a little loose, it's something you'll have to watch for as we go through the remainder of our day today. So there's still some sort of lingering effects from all of this. But if you're just joining us, again, we're still into our tornado coverage right now because of this tornado warning that is still in effect for the southern portions of Pickett County. That's also going into Fentress counties until 7:45. So the time is 7:33. We will see if this one actually is allowed to expire or not as we go through the next few hours. It's north of Jamestown. You can really see with forewarned real-time radar that this is now at the far eastern edge of that sort of warning polygon. So that's certainly working things out. It's a little bit more of a rural area, but still near Sharp Place, Black House Mountain Road, Pickett Park Highway, parts of State Route 7, or 154 rather, I should say, Ridge Fork Road, and Brandy Loop, all areas that we should be watching as this storm continues to work its way through. Behind all of that, not a whole lot, but I would expect to still see, maybe some good gusty winds with this storm. Here's our wind speeds right now. This is just coming off of our radar that's been indicated. And this, I think, is a very big exaggeration. I don't think seeing winds quite at this stage right now. We have to sort of see what the deal is with the center of circulation, but it is definitely showing that we have some winds in excess of 50 miles per hour that could be causing some downed trees, maybe some power lines as well. So we'll certainly need to be watching that as we go through the remainder of our day today. Now that the sun is obviously up, we get a much better view of things and how these storms have been affecting rather than mid-state through the last few hours. Bigger severe thunderstorm warning has been moved into areas like Crossville as well, Van Buren counties, White counties, and that's just on to the east of Cookville as well in Putnam counties. So that's a new warning that we're watching. All of these storms have had a history of gusty, potentially damaging winds. That's been our main concern through our day today and still will be a concern even into this afternoon, because with wind gusts up to 40 miles per hour, we could still see some issues in parts of our area. We also have a new severe thunderstorm warning that was issued around 10 minutes ago from Lewisburg, Shelbyville, Fayetteville, Estill Springs, Tullahoma, Manchester, Wartrace. This is because of this line of severe storms that are currently pushing their way through Lincoln, Moore, Bedford, into Franklin and Coffee counties. That's why this warning has been issued, because these storms have had a little bit of that bow shape to them for pretty much the entire day today, and that's what kind of gives us those 40 to 50 mile per hour winds and maybe even more than that in some locations. So let's talk about it real quick. There's that line from Shelbyville really extending all the way back into Pulaski counties as well. It looks like that severe thunderstorm warning will continue for these areas until at least 8 a.m. So we'll be watching that closely. See how it has that little bow shape to it? That just kind of tells us that behind all of this are those gusty and potentially damaging winds that are pushing through, and that's really what is causing the issue for us at this point. It does look like that these storms are beginning to weaken overall, but they still have enough energy left in them that they can still do some damage at this point. It does look like in parts of Lincoln County, at least south of Fayetteville, and even the southern portions of Franklin County, we are in the clear as far as that severe warning is concerned. It's really parts of Moore County into Franklin County, the northern portions, I should say, and maybe even sneaking into Coffee County, that we're certainly watching the rest of this severe thunderstorm warning. So if you're still in the path of this one, I mean, Shelbyville, Manchester, Tullahoma, Still Springs, we're still expecting heavier rainfall as well as those potential damaging wind gusts. But the reason we're still with you again, if you are just joining us, is because we do have a severe thunderstorm warning that has a tornado warning on with it. That's why we are with you right now. Let's take a look at where that is. It is in the far northern portions of Middle Tennessee, in the far northern portions of the Cumberland Plateau. This is for parts of Pickett and into Fentress counties, and this goes until right around 7:45. So the time is 7:37 right now. This is set to expire in about the next 10 minutes or so. We'll even see if it's allowed to expire any earlier than that as it works its way out of those counties, with which our last radar scan is showing is that it certainly is. So that's certainly going to make things a little bit better for us. We are getting some more reports of power outages. So in Lawrenceburg, utilities are reporting scattered power outages south of US 64. That's where we were talking about some of that rotation, some of those gusty winds. From what I am seeing right now, with this tornado warning that is in effect for Fentress and parts of Pickett counties, looks like that main area of circulation with our rotation detector is working its way out of those areas. So that's certainly good news. It's what we want to hear. It does look like that just now that tornado warning has in fact been expired for parts of Fentress and Pickett County. So real quick before we toss it back to regular programming, just remember that we do in fact still have some severe thunderstorm warnings we have to talk about, especially through the southern portions of Middle Tennessee, Lincoln, Moore, Franklin, Coffee, and Bedford counties would still have potential for 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts. West of 65, things are finally tapering off with just some light rain left over. Keep in mind, though, there are still going to be some down power lines, some trees down as well, maybe some ponding on roadways as these work their way out. It will take some time. If you're headed to work, if the kids are in fact going to school after their 2-hour delays, take it easy, take it slow. No reason to rush anywhere. Give yourself some extra time. If there is in fact another tornado warning issued, we will come back on air. But for right now, we're going to toss it back to regular programming. To Holly, actually. Sorry, Holly, to Holly.
All right. Wow. Busy morning, folks. Several school systems are opening late or are closed this morning. As we've been mentioning, this is due to the severe weather. Troutsdale County, that's the latest. They are closed today as crews are evaluating storm damage in that area. Of course, Troutsdale County, site of one of our many tornado warnings a little earlier this morning. Also, school systems now on a 2-hour delay. Quickly running through these: Cannon County, Cheatham, Lawrence, Macon, and Warren counties. Again, you were all on a 2-hour delay this morning. And as you can imagine, major problems on our roads right now. Several accidents, backups. Let's check in with Lindsay for the latest on that. Lindsay?
Holly, it's an absolute mess outside right now. Here's our most recent accident. Looks like a rollover crash we have here on I-24 West at Haywood Lane. It's off to the outside shoulder, but if you look closely with me in South Nashville, you can see this truck there just off in that wooded area. Looks like it slid off of the interstate, and the roads are so wet that we've actually seen a lot of that this morning. And then here's what we're dealing with ponding on the roadways. If you travel through 440 in South Nashville, come to your TV screen. Check this out. So right now, TDOT is blocking off that far outside lane of traffic in the shoulder because we just have a few inches of water just piling up on the side of the interstate. And this is going to be as you're heading towards I-24, so a really popular area. I mean, earlier I was watching these crews just wade through this water. It was basically up to the middle of their ankles. So we definitely don't want to drive through that. If you do see standing water, either turn around or hop onto another main interstate or just veer around that standing water. We also have 2 issues on 440 still pretty active right now. One accident on 440 West at West End Avenue. You can hop south of that and take Woodmont Boulevard to get around those delays. And then heading inbound, we've had one accident on 440 East right at Belmont Boulevard pull up. Look at these delays right now. After I-65, if you're heading north, it's not that bad getting towards 440, but if you are trying to travel westbound, basically standstill traffic on 440 as a whole. Again, you can hop south of that and take Woodmont Boulevard instead. And then this is from the first camera shot I showed you. So we also have 2 accidents on I-24. So impacting all of you waking up in Rutherford County, maybe about to hit the road. I would wait for some of this heavy rain to pass through in the area if I were you. An accident on Bell Road, and then that truck that I showed you off in the ditch was going to be a little bit further up I-24 West near Haywood Lane. Here's a wide view of what we're dealing with on our road weather index and traffic flow map. All of this blue shading you see here is where I'm really watching that threat of flooding and ponding on the roadways. So either take it slow or wait it out if you can. Up towards Clarksville, Ashland City, still pretty damp for you, as well as West Nashville. But it looks like those heavier downpours or heavier conditions on the road are going to be towards our east. Here's some updated drive times. Slow going across the board. That's what you need to know. 44 minutes heading in from Spring Hill, about 35 out of Mount Juliet. Laverne, you get the award for the slowest going interstate right now, 39 minutes on 24 West, and about 27 minutes from White House on I-65 South. Holly?
Goodness, so many problems out there. All right, Lindsay, and a quick check of power outages for you this morning. We know about 1,400 are out. That's with Cumberland Electric. About 700 are out of power in Montgomery County. NES right now reporting about 2,200 waking up without electricity. Of course, crews are working hard to get that power back on this morning. Stay with News 4 for complete coverage as we bring you the very latest on storm damage on air, online, and of course on our News 4 app. And we now join